Recording in progress.
And here we are. Oh, she didn't say her thing. Interesting. Oh, there's a dog at the door.
Mighty
I
quiet,
think the
Robert.
volume.
Come on, Budo. Hey. Well, December the 15th, 2021.
That's awful quiet, Robert.
I remember thinking that 1984 would be the end
we
of the
can't hear.
world.
Can't hear us anymore.
Not loud enough now?
A little higher.
Well, what the heck? I didn't change anything. Let me turn this thing up and it's just... All of a sudden, I bet there's lots of volume. Yes? God, it's like 3 degrees on that knob. Okay. And there's not too... Well... All right. It's today. It's now. Only 7 more shopping days till Christmas. Oh, dear. Well, I'm glad to see you, to be with you this morning. It's strengthening. I have a poem. I remember sharing this poem in the tent in the prehistoric days of this morning gathering. It's by someone called Tony Taccone, Taccone. It's called The Time of Our Lives. This then is what we are given. 10 or 20,000 days wherein we watch a billion leaves born then blush, fall, turn to earth, to silt, to ash so soft it will not bear a name. From this black dust we make our things, clothes, shelter, jewelry, fiction, stories in which we seek conclusion, our highest and most dangerous invention. For this culling of days, this harvest of dust, gathers meaning only by our watching, our being, our sensation of what is forever being given, that our bodies are really only leaves seeking light, loved at last by the wind. This then is what we're given. 10 or 20,000 days wherein we watch a billion leaves born then blush, fall, turn to earth, to silt, to ash so soft it will not bear a name. From this black dust we make our things, clothes, shelter, jewelry, fiction, stories in which we seek conclusion, our highest and most dangerous invention. For this culling of days, this harvest of dust, gathers meaning only by our watching, our being, our sensation of what is forever being given, that our bodies are really only leaves seeking light, loved at last by the wind. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya. Another morning. This morning. This moment right now. There is no other time. What is in this moment? What exists? What is the mood of this moment? What is the energy state? What is the song of the body right now? What are the actual sensations? The body is alive. And somehow, utterly mysteriously, we can direct awareness. What a mysterious thing. It's possible to become aware of the life in the feet. The life in the left thigh, the middle finger of the right hand, the left cheek, the right ear. It's also possible to notice the sensations of breathing as the body breathes itself. And each breath has a beginning. How curious can we become about the beginning of each breath? And each breath has a pattern of beginning, the chest and abdomen rising, to fullness, and then there's the decline, and then there's the vanishing. And just as awareness can take the sensations of breathing as its object, so can it receive and know any thoughts that arise. And know them as thoughts. And the content is almost irrelevant. It's the fact of thinking, of the wandering mind, the trances of the 5 hindrances. Every moment offering an opportunity to be alive in the present. there is a certain absolutely gentle effort or intention. I intend to be present here. I intend to be awake. And even, it's not so much I as there is the intention to be here with the breath, to rest in the hammock of the breath. Whenever possible. To notice the thinking process. It is as though each breath appears magically from no thingness, non-existence. We don't have to go to the Bible to find the Genesis moment. It's now. And then there's the question, how intimately dare I be present now? What is the quality of the mind right now? Is it expansive and open? Is it perhaps contracted around some thoughts? Is it a mind suffused by loving kindness and compassion? Or is it a frightened mind? Is it wide awake and clear, or is it sleepy, dull, thick with sloth and torpor? Is it a mind filled with faith and understanding and confidence, or is there doubt? Life exists in these polarities. Is there equanimity? The ability to accept both the painful demands of selfing and the sweet spaciousness of love and compassion. Remembering that we're not just attending to the breath in order to achieve some tranquil state, though it can do that and is helpful. We're attending to the breath as the doorway into being present and alive, being awake.
Connected, ready for use.
Sounds
Connected,
arising out of nowhere. As recommended by the Buddha, we use mindfulness of the body as our home base, training object. It's possible also to use a different sense door. Like hearing. So I invite you to notice the sounds that are present. And I made a recording of the wind chimes in my yard back during a storm. So please notice sound, hearing, the phenomenon of hearing. When the mind wanders, come back to hearing. hearing. Not working at it somehow. Somehow mysteriously just present. And just as a gong will ring, so will a thought arise or a body sensation. And we might ask ourselves, where is this sound? Is it out there? And where is it that I, quote, hear it? What is the location of that hearing? And let's now notice the possibility of bringing awareness fully into the body as it sits here. It's not that the ear door goes away. It's just that the intended area of attention is the life of the body. There's an aspect of the practice which is called skillful means. A big piece of that is knowing, first off, that I have the choice of what I attend to. But also, I have different sense doors I can attend to. Each and every breath has a beginning. It rises to fullness, it declines, and it vanishes. And in the realm of mind, of thinking, kind of overlapping with the realm of the heart, we can remember the billions of human beings. It's a big number. And the countless billions of other beings and let ourselves become a voice, a source of love and peace. A simple way to do that is on the in-breath. Think of some blessing you'd like to offer yourself. Maybe simply, I love you with your name at the end. Or maybe it's, may I be happy. May I be free from fear and danger. May I live with ease and grace. May I be liberated. And then on the out-breath, may all beings long for the same thing. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from fear and from danger. May all beings live with ease and grace. May all beings be liberated. And so breathing in and breathing out, we are part of the great mystery. So let us rest back in the beauty of our being and participate in the mystery of this living. And please now let us bring our attention to the places where the body makes contact with the chair or the cushion, to the aliveness where clothing touches the body, to the life in the throat and the cheeks and the lips, to the life in the eyes, and noticing now the intention to let the eyes open, to open the eyes. Where does that intention occur? And now letting it manifest as action, knowing the effort that it takes to raise the eyelids. And then watching the mysterious miracle of sight. And if seeing is clear and crisp, then there emerge these pictures, representations of persons, real persons. And if the seeing faculty is not clear, it could be just light but however it is, noticing what occurs. And then I like to zero in on one face after another. It's like, oh, it's you. You're here today. May you be happy. May your day be safe. May you be safe. May your heart be light around any problems that are coming into your life now. It's interesting how the vicissitudes come and go, isn't it? Pleasure and pain, gain and loss, fame, disrepute. Relationship shiny and bright and connected and distant and conflictual, and it's also so not surprising anymore, but it's how relationships change from moment to moment. Jim is teaching a 9 o'clock in the morning till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock. Qigong till 2. And on Saturday, you can sign up for that on the website. I never mentioned Doug Pullen. His teaching on Thursday nights goes on with what I like to refer to, about mine too, monotonous regularity. It's like, yep, it's like a metronome. Boom, Thursday night, Doug Pullen is teaching. And Candle teaches the first and third Sunday nights and some other times, which we've got to get on the website. They're on Connections. Please, you will be receiving, I haven't received mine yet, I'm not sure when they're getting in the mail. You will be receiving an end-of-year fundraising letter, and I hope you will consider practicing the great generosity to PIMC to keep it running in its beautiful way as we end the year. And please save January 4th from 7 to 9. I'll be sending out an invitation for this now. It's Joan Didion's book, The Year of Magical Thinking, and a performance of part of it by Vanessa Redgrave. And it's an astounding listen. So, and New Year's Eve, we'll be having a gathering as well. So that's all I want to say about that stuff. And I'm curious, what is life revealing to you? I had a teacher a teacher of nonviolent communication who at a certain point in our classes, she would say, and please let us speak now about the joys and sorrows. The discoveries. Should put my headset on so I can tell. Bye, Janice.
Hi, Robert. It's Joy.
Hello, Joy.
Yesterday you started by saying that you woke up again, and yesterday was the day a year ago that my mother did not wake up. So it's actually quite literally true that you can just not wake up. And I've been thinking about her all week.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was alive on Monday, and on Tuesday she was not alive. But we took her ashes to Hollyhock, and she's there beside the pond in a place she liked to be. So that was nice. Anyway, so this is what I'm thinking about this week as it's getting darker, still raining, Christmas coming, and impermanence all around. Thank you.
It's so wonderful you got to take her cremains back to that spot on the by the pond at Hollyhock, on the land at Hollyhock.
She really loved Hollyhock, and there's actually some more ashes scattered in the pond of a guy, and I have a fantasy that the two of them get together and keep each other company.
Probably so.
I don't know.
Why not?
I'm kind of tempted by things like spiritualism and shamanic voyaging and the idea of invisible realms. What do you think Buddhism has to say about that kind of thing?
I think nothing. Now, you can find streams of Buddhism. That Tibetan Buddhism has all kinds of that stuff, but the teachings of the Buddha, as we know them from the Pali Canon, those are the Buddha just deflected reflections on that. He would say, "Are you suffering?"
Yeah.
Because there's any number of well, I'm thinking of the hand of leaves, the fistful of leaves story. That someone asked a question of that ilk, and the Buddha reached down to the forest and picked up some leaves off the forest floor. Mm-hmm. And he said, "What?" He called himself the Tathagata, the one such gone. What the Tathagata teaches is to what there is to know and to think about, as these leaves are to the leaves in the forest. He teaches only one thing. Suffering, the cause of suffering, and the end of suffering. So there's lots of things he simply didn't engage with. And what I choose to do really, is to say I don't know. And I've done a little shamanic voyaging, and I did a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
And I think they were very useful at the time. They simply are no longer attractive to me, but they might well be to you or to someone else, and you might find it very interesting and healing.
Yeah, I have nice friends who believe in these invisible realms, and it's quite intriguing to me. Yeah.
One of the things that As the mind gets clearer, the difference between direct experience and belief becomes more and more clear. And so the thing about beliefs is they are very impermanent. They're thoughts, they're attitudes, and that they are subject to being observed. And the more mindfulness arises, then this is a nice thing to believe in, but it is a belief rather than a truth for oneself.
Yes, I've thought lately that there are only two things. One is thoughts and beliefs, and the other is the concrete realities around us. So, and how those two things relate to each other.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Joy.
Thank you.
Good morning, Robert and Sangha.
It's Rebecca.
Yes, it is.
Hi.
Speaking. One of the things kind of related to what Joy was talking about, I've been thinking about is when we do our kindness practice, the end of meditation that you often lead us through, what is your perception of how we or others might benefit from that as we send it out north, south, east, and west, or as we, in what way does that ramify, or is it only, I'd just be curious of what you might perceive or project in doing that.
Well, I have no idea if it has any effect on anyone else at all. And that's not even really why I think I do it. It's that it is possible to incline the mind in this moment toward a loving attitude. And it's so funny watching what comes up. There was a time, a long time ago, when I was playing with loving kindness practice. And there's a classic progression. It's for oneself, and then one's teacher, or someone that's really easy to love, so a benefactor of some kind. And then in Asia, they start with oneself, but Westerners have so much self-hatred, it's often better to start with someone else who's very loving toward you. And then a beloved family member, a close person, a friend, and then one moves to more and more distant, and then to someone that you know, maybe that you encounter, but you've never they're neutral. They're a neutral person. And I decided I would do a loving kindness practice toward one of the guys at my bank that I'd never spoken with. I don't know how he came to mind. And so I spent a week or maybe two with maybe 3 or 4 minutes a day having an image of him, and may he be happy and may he live with ease and grace, and I hope he's doing well today. And I had this whole relationship with him in my mind. And the next time I went into the bank, I had this attitude toward him, like, oh, there he is. And I could have walked up to him and said, hi, how are you? Totally inappropriately, because my attitude had changed. So that I know can be effective. We can, and similarly, if I sit around and harbor enemy images of someone, the next time I see them, they are my enemy. They're not I don't trust them because I'm so we're shaping the next moment, and so that's the part of it that I understand experientially. It's all very selfish. It's all about oneself. He said humorously, but there's some truth to it, I think. That I really want to live in a world where I experience a lot of love. And if that's the case, then I better create it. Well, who is it that said that?
It doesn't feel selfish.
Huh?
It doesn't feel selfish.
It's not selfish. It's selfish in the big S way, the Jungian way, that it really is about connecting oneself with all beings.
Yeah.
Robert, it's Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Hi. This is one of those things that from your class, what the Buddha taught, that really jumped out at me from the book, which it was one of the Buddhist stories where someone was really prompting him with these existential questions of how does this relate to heaven or hell or something like that. And it really struck me that in the story, Buddha said, I don't know, I don't care. As I understood what I was reading, I just deal with what's in front of me. And, a lot of the Buddhist teaching can get very ascetic and esoteric and intellectual. Your story about it's Achan Sumedho, where he was told, don't read any books for 2 years, just come and sit with us. And then the Tao reading from the other day, where, we have selective receptors. And it's some of these questions, like how does this affect the rest of the world? It's like Buddha saying, let's leave that alone. It's not selfish. It's just all we have is what's apparent to us, and we work with that, and let the rest of it take care of itself, because we can't affect it anyway or know it. Letting the unknowable be unknown. That's how, and that really jumped out at me in the book, in the teaching.
It makes sense, and yet I still find myself drawn to. I find it fun to think of. May everyone in Cincinnati be happy. Right? It's like, yeah, people actually live there. It's a real place. Or may everyone in Timbuktu, which is a real place as well.
No, yeah.
They had a hard time. Was it the Taliban that was? No, it was anyway. So
but the impact on that is in you, and whether it impacts Cincinnati or Timbuktu. Okay, but it obviously has an impact on the experience that you have.
Right. It's a form that we can use to think in certain ways, which are very connecting. Well, and then there's another piece of it, which is, may all those beings who have political views diametrically opposed to mine be happy, right? May everyone who stormed the Capitol be safe and loved and feel loved. Now that rankles with some people. It's like, well, wait a minute. Well, they are also us. And so I think it helps us. It helps me. It helps me soften my for and against kind of thinking.
And to put it in line with the Buddhist teaching, it's what keeps you on the Eightfold Path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've mentioned this, it was a long time ago when Ronald Reagan was president, and we thought that was really bad, interestingly. He was president, and he had a Secretary of Defense called Caspar Weinberger, who was a psychopath. And he really wanted to nuke the Russians. He was really into using nuclear weapons. And I was frightened of both of them and sort of hated them. And I decided that was a problem, and I printed out 8x10 photos of both of them. And they were on the right side of my little meditation spot. And then on the left side, I had a loving kindness wall and my picture of Ruth. And I would do my sitting, and I'd get very spacious and quiet. And then I would turn to my loving kindness wall and wish these beautiful people that are part of my extended life, wish them well. And then I would very intentionally turn and look at these pictures and watch how my heart just went, ugh. And I saw that as a problem. And so I worked with it for some time until I could look at them and see them as ordinary human beings with a lot of power and some very bad values and power, dangerous people, but not someone to throw out of my heart. And that was very instructive. And I've done that kind of thing many times. And important here to mention, which is also to remember the people who are disenfranchised and who are subjugated to the horrors of their power, that to also hold them in our hearts. I have a little practice that I do every now and then, and I think I mentioned this. I woke up Saturday 2 weeks ago, I think, a little like tired and depressed and feeling yucky. And it was a day I needed to pick up Buddha's prescription at Costco. And he would go blind without an ointment we put in his eyes. And anyway, as I was passing the roasted chicken section, they have these $4.98 barbecue chickens. And I filled up my cart with them, and then I drove immediately down to the Morrison Bridge. And I went from tent to tent, just saying, it's so much fun to do this. I highly recommend it. Anybody want a chicken? Or is anybody home? You want a hot chicken? These faces, it was raining. These faces peer out of the tent and they light up. And two of the women were so clearly mentally ill and out of it, but they smiled. And that's a loving kindness practice I like to do because it's so nourishing to me. And they get to have a couple of warm meals, but it's really for my benefit because I live in such comfort, right? I got up this morning and I sat in my hot tub, which I've had for 15 years, for 15 or 20 minutes and meditating. And then I went in and I had a hot shower and I adjusted the temperature. I live in this astounding luxury. And I like to be reminded of that by actually touching, at least in that little safe way that I do, poverty on occasion. Yeah. And here's the piece that touches me. That's not just then, that's right now. That's this morning. And it's cold here this morning. And that's just here. So it's very heart softening. It's really good for me.
Robert, hi, it's Birch.
Birch, hello.
Hi, everybody. Just lovingly challenge that idea that it's just for you. Clearly, it is not. Clearly, we benefit from hearing that story. The people who are hungry benefit from the chicken. Like that reciprocity.
I guess you're right.
Is its own vitality. It's just how life actually works. It's science. It's all of it. And by focusing on only the receptor and not the reaction nor the giving, there are unseen worlds. It's not just a belief, it's a given. We don't see how the mycelium network through our naked eye, right? So there's a quality of, I think it's the Dharma itself. I know it's Dharma is reciprocity itself. So yeah, it's just relaxing that idea of who what is for,
Right.
to feel the vitality of loving action. So metta, whether, anyway, I'm just extending that notion to
I think that
metta having a vitality to it that is
Right.
beyond our necessarily controlling it.
And thank you very much for that. I guess I don't have to understand it. I can just be part of it. Yeah. Thank you. Lovely.
It's Sky. Hi, Sangha.
Hello,
I want to
Sky.
piggyback on this. I want to piggyback on this idea, saying that it's just for yourself. If you take it to the next level and consider that we are all one, that unity consciousness, then that person in the tent is you. So it is for yourself.
Yeah. Thanks. I know it sure is fun.
Hi, Robert. It's Eileen.
Eileen, hello.
Hi. I have a sardonic, no, I guess I don't know if it's sardonic. I wanted the other word, ironic comment, and then a question for you on something you said. When you do the, at the end, when you ask us to bring loving kindness to the different regions, I always go off when you go east. I go into my head because I keep waiting for you to say New York, and you never do. And then my thought is, what's the matter with New York, Robert? Why don't you ever think of it? So, and I laugh to myself. But next time, could you just like surprise me sometime and throw in New York? But of course, I'll go off because then I will also think, see, he does say New York.
Well,
so
could it be the Bronx, or do I have to do New York?
you could, the whole state, the East
Oh, the
Coast.
state. Oh, okay.
I lived in Buffalo and Manhattan and grew up in Long Island. So,
All right. So
no, I mean, I see the absurdity of it. I'm really sharing it just because it's funny.
it is funny. Thank you.
But my question to you is, when you were talking about wishing metta to the man of the bank,
Yeah.
and then you said, I kind of wanted to go up to him and say, hi, how are you? And then I wondered, well, why didn't you? Why couldn't you?
I certainly could. It was the effusiveness that I was feeling that would have been inappropriate. I would have approached him like a long-lost friend, and it was like, who's this crazy gray-haired guy? Who is this guy? I mean, it would have been too much. But I could tone it down. There's no reason I couldn't tone it down and be a socially conscious person and say, hi, I've noticed you here. I want to introduce myself. I could do that.
I wonder what it would have been like, though, if you had been effusive. Hi, how are you? He might have said, oh, great. How are you?
Oh, I could do that. It's the going in and hugging him and kissing him on both cheeks. That kind of stuff.
No, that's next time you could do that.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I just expected you, given my sense of you, to walk in and say, hi, how are you? Like that.
I may have, but anyway, it was just, one needs to modulate. What I was really trying to point out was the change in my attitude, how I saw him.
Oh, I know that. But then that's where my mind goes to the next thing. Thank you.
Thank you. I just looked at my watch. It's 8:15. We could chat for a while, I'm sure. Is there anything else someone wants to say? Oh, HAD is advertising. Let me give a plug. In Multnomah Village, there's Cerebellum Bakery where HAD works, and they have really good cupcakes. And it's to benefit individuals with brain injuries. And it's a wonderful place. Do you have cupcakes for diabetics there?
We do have a phenomenon called sugar-free savory cupcake.
I see. Oh, good. Thank you. Well, oh, hang on. I don't have the best way to show you this, but I can show it to you adequately. You can see it. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, wait a minute. I have to get my self view up here because otherwise I can't tell what I'm showing you. Show self view. Where am I? I'm way down there. Pull it up here. There we go. The doors are in from the ramp to the Dharma hall. Just yesterday, the door is in, the windows are not in, and here it is up close. The door is on the left, and then there's all the other frames there will be glass. So there's going to be in the west side of the Dharma hall. There's going to be a huge view of the trees and light. And the trees will protect us from when does this happen? But the hot sun of summer, the trees will protect us from that. And it's beautifully done. And there was some issue about waterproofing and so on. And it's been incredibly, the flashing around it is just amazing. And so it will never leak. And we're getting so close to everything opening. Beginning of January. So, let's sing our way home. May all beings receive all blessings. Now, let's just allow this to affect all beings. Why not? So please unmute if you'd like to be part of the great cacophonous prayer. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
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 Have a lovely day, my friends.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you. Hello, Eric and Christopher. Nice to see you guys. All right.
Thank you, Robert. Have a good day.
Thanks, Jai.
Bye, Tamara.
Live long and prosper, friends.
Goodbye, Mr.
All of you. Mwah.
Bye, Sherry.
Bye, Robert. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Francine.
Tamara.
Big hugs.
Bye, Sandra.
See you tomorrow.
Hasta.
Bye, Sherry.
Here we go.
Have a cupcake for me.
Bye, Rebecca.